Okay. Hello, my fellow engineers, and how y'all doing today? Today we're going to be doing part 2 of the Fukuda interview. We're going to be going into more of the artwork that whatever me and Wacky was talking about in the last podcast, and Bubby. Today joining us we have well, you know, a familiar voice. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello. It's your boy, Tavon. You know, it's been a while. The boy Ray Bracer. I don't know what's going on here. It's been a while. Hi guys. And you know, I said it before. I said it so many times, and I'll say it again. Sig Zion. You know what's up?
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, boy.
It's, you know, wish the Federation would have done another colony drop before, you know, calling truce on the or treaty, whatever. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, but before we do the Fukuda interview, I do want to talk about this movie that just came out, and also the trailer reaction to the Gundam Requiem, Requiem for Vengeance. That's what we're going to be going into today. So let me go ahead and start off with the actually with this movie. This movie just came out July 4th, Independence Day. Now, it took about 5 years for this movie to release. Now, why am I going depth in this one movie? Is because, well, again, it took 5 years for it to be released. You know, it was passed on to Disney. It was passed on to multiple other big major studios. And they just, I don't know much more detail than that. You know, it just, every studio didn't want this. And it went to Angel Studios, which is actually an independent studio. And actually, Tivon, you just finished watching the trailer, right?
Yeah. This is the movie. This looks great. Like something that could have a powerful message. Something that could. It's refreshing.
Oh,
something about a controversial subject actually being like in theaters. So I didn't even know this was a thing. But just watching the trailer alone, I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of movie I need to see, because I like seeing stuff, true stories about stuff that atrocities that's been happening over the world, crime that we know is still happening all around us, and we just go day by day, not really thinking much of it. So this kind of thing is definitely really cool to see, because it gives us a realm, a search into the realm of something that seems like it couldn't happen to us, right? You wouldn't think it happens to your family, friends, or sisters, or even your own children, right? You wouldn't really think about it. But then you hear in the news that it happens to everybody else, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see the details and this kind of thing.
And for those who don't know what movie we were talking about, also, hey, Bubby's here as well. So is Zion Saku.
Thanks for having me, Space Engineers.
And you're welcome.
It's Bright Noah to you now.
It's Bright Noah. So the movie we were talking about is The Sounds of Freedom. Now, a lot of people didn't thought it was a good idea for this movie to come out between The Flash and Indiana Jones. Now, believe it or not, this movie actually beat Indiana Jones's box office.
Wow.
Yeah. And also with a $14 million budget.
That's crazy.
How much was Indiana Jones' budget, Freedom?
I believe it was 250. But the thing okay, so even though they tell you, hey, this is the budget is $250 million, that's just production. It doesn't include advertisement. It doesn't. Now, mind you, Indy 5 is fucking terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that out there. But it's bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
I don't
like.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just like, I love Indiana Jones, but to me, it's just like, I thought it made the Crystal Skull look like the Mona Lisa.
So, speaking of which, I just looked up the lifetime gross, and it didn't even break 100 million.
Yeah. So it didn't. So within the opening night of The Sound of Freedom, it made it almost made his money back. It almost made $14 million back. You know, it is I think it's only domestic. It's only coming out in a few theaters. And believe it or not, guys, if you guys have not seen this movie, mind you, if you guys don't have an extra couple of bucks in your pocket to watch this movie, if you go on the Angel Studios website, so for those who don't know what The Sound of Freedom is about, it's based on a true story about trafficking. Young trafficking at that. You know, I'm trying to be careful because YouTube. I don't want this video pulled off YouTube. I really want this video, this movie to be watched because I'm gonna let you know right now. Any other person, you could be watching this movie and you're gonna be like, "Oh man, it's terrible." As a parent, this movie scares the shit out of you.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know right now. As someone who doesn't have kids, this movie will be like, "Oh guys, this is a terrible thing." But as a parent, this movie would scare the shit out of you. It really would.
Oh, okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. It took me a little bit.
Yeah.
I seen it on TikTok.
Oh, did you?
You seen it on TikTok?
Yeah.
I seen a few clips on TikTok. It's very viral.
I heard
right now.
about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
heard about
based
the
on
persecution.
based on a true story. Now, like I said, as I was saying though, if you guys don't have a couple bucks in your pocket to go watch this in theaters, if you go on their website, they were dedicating because 2 million people or 2 million kids a year get abducted, right, and put into
Year?
this. That's what they say.
2 million.
I think it's 2 million, yeah. 2 million are sold or 2 million are taken, something like that.
That's a lot.
It's a
Okay,
lot,
I didn't
yeah.
even realize it was that high. What the heck?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
2 million. So, what
There's a lot of
Angels?
people involved.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So on the studio's website, if you go on Angel Studios website, they to dedicate, about that 2 million number, they were keeping track of the 2 million tickets that they were being sold, and you could buy it on the website. You could actually pay it forward to somebody else to watch it. So if you go on their website and someone paid it forward, you could claim it for free. So you guys have a chance to watch the movie for free, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And in response, because this movie is more than just a movie; it's a message.
What's the
And-
message?
Well, basically, just the 2 million kids. It's basic. The message is spreading awareness. That's really what it's about.
That's right.
It's basically about a Homeland Security guy. Look, I'm not spoiling anything. This is in the trailer, but imagine you are a cop and you're in this undercover sting operation. You see, like let's say you're part of it, as an undercover, you're seeing what's going on. As a cop, though, you can't, or I mean, in this case, he was Homeland Security. He had to hold back. He had to let things happen in front of him in order for more buyers and sellers come into the picture.
More evidence to show up.
To more evidence show up, more people, because the more people that show up, the better. So it talks about how this is the kind of job that nobody will be able to do, but somebody has to do it.
It tolls on you.
Yeah, and it does. There's a scene where he opens up a scrapbook that he put that he got off of evidence, and he started crying down, broken in tears, because because they took pictures of what was happening and put it in a book like it's a damn family album. And
You watched this movie?
Yeah, I couldn't. do
yeah,
that.
it's a very powerful movie, and I don't just say that word freely. It's very powerful. This guy literally basically quit his job, basically, and went to another country to save kids because they told him that they don't have the budget, they don't have the jurisdiction, and he basically said, "Nah, fuck that," and he went himself.
And the country is which country is this movie taking?
And the movie is like South America, like Brazil, I think. I think he went to Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is an American cop that went to South, that ended up going to South Brazil or whatever.
Somewhere like that, yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Huh.
But obviously because of the budget reasons, the movie is $14 million budget. By the way, came out beautiful. It doesn't look like a $14 million movie. There's movies out there that's like $100 million and they look like a $14 million movie. This
Take a lesson from that Disney.
yeah, looking at Disney CGI lately. But this does not look like a $14 million movie, and this movie is a little over 2 hours long, and you don't feel it. You do not feel it. So, yeah, I figured to recommend this movie. It's very powerful. If you guys have kids, I recommend you guys watching this. Is it a hard watch? It is. It is. But it's kind of a movie I personally think every parent should watch. Like I said, it would literally scare the shit out of you just because it's a reality of it. Now, mind you, They could have done more, like add more kids into the movie, because mind you, this guy, who went out and saved these kids, it was 130 something kids that he saved.
It's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. So I recommend you guys watching it. Like I said, if you don't have a couple of bucks in your pocket right now, go on their website. It's angelstudios.com. And then just find this movie on there, and then you'll be able to, like I said, people are literally paying tickets forward so other people will be able to watch it. You could be able to grab a ticket and just go to your local theater or whatever theater is showing it. I think this movie's only in like 1,400 theaters, I believe.
So technically, 2 scary movies released this week then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
We got Insidious 3 as well. Oh, jeez.
Oh, 5.
Oh, 5? Oh, I thought it was 3.
No,
My
it's
bad.
5. Yeah, that's bad too. Patrick Wilson, the guy who plays in the Insidious movies, and The Conjuring, he directed it. It's just his director debut.
I watched the trailer for it with the hospital scene, and I'm like, what the deuce are they thinking now? Where he's in the cancer tube, and then the thing comes at him. Like,
I'm running all
thanks
this
for
stuff to you guys. I never heard about this stuff.
I didn't watch any of the Conjuring movies because I thought they just kind of creeped me out. They didn't scare me, but they really creeped me out.
Conjuring.
Like, who thinks of
The first one definitely, I think so, because like it was so unknown. You don't know what the hell's going on, and then you saw like a little red face in the corner.
I mean, if I wanted to go there, I'd just go to the Amityville house.
Maybe I think I saw one of them. I'm not sure which one I saw. Oh wait, Annabelle. I think I've seen Annabelle.
The Nun 2, the Nun
apparently.
2 trailer just dropped.
Oh no, not that.
Yeah.
That was the only one that really creeped me out.
The Nun?
Yeah, no, I did not like that one. I watched a little bit of it, like, and I
Like
walked out,
scary,
and
you
I'm
didn't like
nope,
the movie?
Nope.
Oh. I'll tell you a good one. It's Evil Dead Rise. I do like the Evil Dead. I do like the Evil Dead series. I really do.
Is it on par with the old one?
I think it's up there. I think it is a very respectable, entry into the franchise. It's about a mother who gets possessed, and she's trying to kill her 3 kids and her sister. Yeah, and what makes it like more is very intense because they're all locked inside of an apartment. So you get that
So
claustrophobic.
No tree scene? Darn. So no tree scene? Darn.
No tree scene, but it's very gory. I would say that it's very gory, very blood galore in there.
Well, I would imagine it's an Evil Dead movie, so.
Yeah, it's it's definitely up there. I don't think it's as intense as the 2013. God, that literally made people got up and walk out of the theater, not because it was bad, but because it was like, holy shit, like I can't watch this no more, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I prefer the old ones, to be honest.
Yeah. Evil Dead 2 is kind of like a reboot because of there was a lot of licensing issues when it came to the first one. So yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and let's go on to the next segment. We are going to react to the actually a new trailer just dropped. I think like hours after the last podcast, Bubby.
Oh wow, let's take a look at it then.
Oh,
For what?
Let's see.
The trailer for Gundam Requiem.
Oh, they released another? Oh no.
No, it's the same trailer, but it's they literally dropped this trailer like hours after we did the first other podcast.
I think I saw the trailer. I'm already triggered that they got the name of the 1 Year War wrong.
Hold on. Before you say anything about this, let's just watch it first.
Yeah.
Screen?
Wasn't it dropped in here somewhere? Could have sworn it was.
It may have been. I've only seen some screenshots of it. I haven't actually watched it all properly.
Oh, Wacky's typing. He might join us.
Yeah. For those who are asking for Wacky, Oh, excuse me. Yeah, he just got on. He was just a little behind. He's about to hop on in a few minutes. So, yeah. Hang on, guys. Let me go ahead and post this on Discord so you guys can see. Okay, y'all ready?
Ready.
Where these all ever be?
All right. So just like the other one, we'll watch it and then we'll slow it down. Beautiful. I like the textures.
Red Wolves, prepare to drop.
Save house.
Dang, I didn't know the British came out with mobile suits that fast.
The Revolutionary War.
It was,
Okay.
Hmm?
So I might have the timelines wrong, but I thought the 1-year war ended at like towards the end of the year.
This they ended at 12/31.
Red Wolves, prepare to drop.
No, but the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me see something.
Yeah, you're saying 0080.
Oh. Okay. I misunderstood the trailer then. Okay.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Didn't the
I think I read.
Baoku,
I
the
think I
Battle of
read
Baoku happen at
the.
the end of the year?
Yeah, but I think I read the story. I think the story was that it was like a month before the war ended. I was looking it up, but one thing I could say, bro, I'm getting Igloo vibes.
Honestly, this whole trailer looks like a mess of contradictions to me.
You think so?
Honestly, I think like there's so much misinformation here. It's not even funny.
Why do you say that?
Well, if it is taking place, during that time frame, why does it say 11 months after the 1-year war?
Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, what's up, Wacky?
What's good?
That's my question. 'Cause
Welcome,
I'm
welcome.
like, I thought it was supposed to take place 11 months after the 1-year war.
What, is that the case for Requiem of Vengeance?
11
Yeah,
months
that's
after.
what I
You
thought.
know, I didn't really. I think I looked over that. Yeah, 11 months after.
And
Interesting.
then
Maybe
show
maybe
back
it
the
meant
next part.
maybe it meant 11 months like after the war started, maybe. Because whenever I was looking up the story, it was talking about 1 month before the war ended, so like early January, early December.
Let's say, 'cause, yeah, no, that would make more sense.
Yeah, so probably
I mean,
11 months.
wait.
Probably like 11 months into the war.
But wasn't there a lot of Xeon stragglers anyways that
There
didn't
was.
want to stop? So even then, I think it's okay. Cause
Yeah, either way it would make sense, but like,
yeah, that was a little bit confusing. Cause I'm like, if it's saying it's in 0080, cause it says 0079, 11 months after the
yeah, that's what I
11
mean
months
by
after the
so
final
much
battle, right? It's like,
Yeah.
So that would indicate that it would be 0080.
Yes, but
Right?
why does it say 0079?
I think there was some type of miscommunication with the production department.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, because of
Oh, there was more than that. I can
yeah,
guarantee
I
that.
think so too. Because I think well, because I'm 100% sure because I was looking it up actually last night. And there was a story or some like design art that was released. It talked about like this story was based on 1 month before the war ended, like a month before a Baoku. So I don't know. The only thing I could say is, I mean, yeah, it's worded weird, but the only thing I could say is it probably just meant 11 months after the war started.
I mean, it looks decent. The problem is the wording for the story is just weird, and it already throws a lot
Well,
of people off.
hang on, let me skip through because it talked about okay here right here, UC 0079. Maybe I should probably make it a little go faster.
Hmm.
Nah, it's about to hit that next part already.
Yeah, so 11 months after. So what, 11 months after 007?
It'd be 11 months after 0079, or so that would be almost near the end of the war.
Yeah, it would be like at the tail end of it.
Oh yeah, go back to that. Go back
Either
to that.
that.
That's my trigger point right there.
The
Unless it
Revolutionary
could mean
War.
either
Yeah.
Yes.
it could mean either at the tail end of it or it could mean like 11 months into 0080, but there is definitely a miscommunication here.
About
Well,
probably
they
like a
could find like that.
mistranslation.
Big time.
Well, I mean, this is an American studio making this, as far as I know.
One quick question, by the way.
Go on.
I never heard of the studio.
Just a little side question.
I think go to that. Go ahead
wait.
first.
Sorry, just one quick side question. Gundam Schwarzette. Was
What
that in the
about it?
show for Witch of Mercury?
That is from Witch from Mercury, yes.
It was in the
I-
show?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I don't even recognize that thing. Anyhow,
Yeah,
go
that's,
into
that
Gundam
is
info.
definitely from Witch from Mercury, yep.
If you go to
Like,
Gundam
I
info.
still have yet to start binging Witch from Mercury, which I can now that the series has ended, from what I understand. But yeah, like, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I just checked on Gundam Wiki really quick, just because I'm lazy. Yeah, like, it's in Witch from Mercury, 100%.
But
okay, I
yeah,
didn't
Okay.
recognize it.
if you go to Gundam info, I know they had an interview. I think one of the channels, Gundam channels, they had an interview with the producer of the
Mhm.
studio
So
of this.
so real quick, I looked at the studio. So because I never heard of Safe House, but apparently they did Demon Slayer, Fate Grand Order, and Saint Seiya, the Knights of the Zodiac.
The
So where are they
recent one?
based?
Because,
Let me
yeah,
see.
like, go on.
Yeah, the recent one.
That is a little concerning because I heard the recent one was not very good, but we're gonna have to see. As long as they weren't the ones that made Cowboy Bebop, were they?
No, they only got
Oh.
like a few. They only got a few things under. They only got like 1, 2, 3. They only got like maybe like four projects under their belt, and that's including Gundam.
All right, just making sure because we do not need a freaking repeat of Cowboy Bebop on Netflix again.
Yeah.
Hey, watch this, we're
So
gonna do a
according
repeat of it.
according to
Yeah.
Dixo, they said that they were just a production cooperation. So pretty much they helped him with it. That's all it was. So it sounds
Alright,
like it was
fair
just
enough.
a joint project. So but for Demon Slayer, they just said they just did 3D assistance for one episode for episode 1. That's it. And then Fate Grand Order, second key animation episode 12, and that's it. So it sounds like Gundam, their Requiem for Vengeance is probably like their from what it looks of it, their only full-fledged project that they ever did. Everything else is they only had like a small hand in helping.
So what you're telling me is we're gonna have another Gundam G Savior, but CGI.
No, well, G Savior had CGI. What are you talking about?
Yes, but
okay,
it's not.
so-
We don't have any live action in this.
Right. So they from the looks of it, they only helped out 3 studios, and then they were like, "Hey guys, let's just work on our own project full-fledged." I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because the good part about it, the way I see it, is that since they helped out with the other studios, they could kind of, collect other formulas and, what worked with them best and everything. That's the only thing I could think of.
But hold on
Right.
here though, right? So I'm reading about who's in part of this project,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're saying, so people who are responsible. So they mentioned Gavin Ignite, who's in charge of Tekken, who is part of Tekken Bloodline, Transformers, Cyberverse, Star Wars Resistance, Marvel Spider-Man, and the guy you see in the video, Erasmus Brosdal. He worked with Origin Zero, Warhammer 40k.
Interesting.
So that's not too bad. And then they said they got the guy, the executive producer, Naohiro Ogata, who was part of Witch from Mercury and Thunderbolts.
Okay,
Oh, well,
so who is the other one?
I heard one of them was a
The
fan.
other one is, I think it was Hiroaki Yura, is the main producer.
Hmm.
Or
No,
is
the one
producing
that
as
you
well.
said that did Star Wars Resistance. Who was that?
So Gavin Hignites. Let me see what this person's all about.
And what was he in charge of?
I'm trying to find it out right now,
Because
cause
I know Star Wars Resistance bombed.
okay, so he was the production artist, so part of the production. He was part, yeah. So in some shows he was. Where is it in Star Wars? I don't see anything with what he did in Star Wars right now. Like right now, he's doing the script for Gundam. For Transform. Oh, he did the War for Cybertron trilogy. The script.
That's not
So
bad.
it might be a
It's not
little
too
bit
bad.
corny. Because Transformers was a little bit corny.
Well, that
Uh,
depends on what Transformers you're talking about, because some of them are really good, and a small handful of them are bad.
So the
So,
War for Cybertron trilogy on Netflix. That was a good show.
but
The dialogue was kind of.
But it should be noted- it should be noted though, each episode is I'm sorry. So there's only 6 episodes, each about 30 minutes long.
Interesting.
So it's
So
more of an
it's-
OVA basically, just
Yeah.
so it's a so this project is a collaboration obviously with Bandai Namco and Safe House. So obviously I know that Bandai is going to be involved with it. I'm just interested that it's also using Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
So,
that I'm curious about too.
yeah. So
there's
Epic
There's a
Games is
major
soaking
way I
this
can see
shit
this.
up.
there's like 2 ways I
Jeez.
can see this going. I can see this like giving them a good promotion, like the show goes well, or immediately just blows up back in their face.
yeah. Usually though, when it comes to Bandai is very protective when it comes to their milk and butter, their bread and butter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Have you seen their fucking PC games lately on Steam? Have you seen GBO2's reviews on Steam?
Yeah, and they are
other
getting
than that,
they are getting better because again, GBO2 had a horrible launch and is still picking up the pieces, but it's getting better gradually.
At this
It's
point,
literally the same game as it was on PS4. And
I think they
PS3.
just kind of need to like just make a whole new game for PC
Hey guys,
and stop
Guys.
trying to port things over.
I have a conspiracy to think of. So if we look back onto this video, right? You guys watching?
Mhm.
All right, hear me out. But I think I know who the real. I think this trailer gave us the real antagonist.
Oh,
Right there,
Where?
right here in the
Leon?
vehicle is Char.
The
It is
Charles
red
vehicle?
and brown.
well,
Or
that's the
Garma.
thing. Is that just lighting or is it actually red?
No, it's probably just a little bit of both.
I'm
Yeah.
about to say
Hey, it can't be Garma because he died.
because he is Omega dead.
Yeah.
Like he's gone.
And it kind of looks poop colored to me.
Yeah. You would have it more red.
In the military, that would be a bad color to use.
Red?
Well, that
Oh,
depends.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if
The
you
British
if you
used it, right?
well, yeah, I was
British
just about to
used
say that. I was just about to say that, but also, if you stand out on purpose with your color being red when everyone else is not, that's usually a sign that you are one of two things: either you are hot shit or you are really stupid.
Yeah,
And Char was the former.
no, I know,
Well,
and
give
I
him-
know, like the Earth. I do know, like the sheer weight of the Earth got lighter because when Char disappeared, that his balls just lifted up the weight of the Earth. That's all I gotta say, bro. That's all I gotta say.
What the hell? That
Earth
is
has got like
very
a
odd way
billion
of
times. Like
describing it.
I'm just saying, dude, because dude went into war with a bright ass red suit,
Right? Well, I mean, he
in
he wanted
space,
to make his name. He wanted
in
to make his
space,
name.
where everything's all pitch black dark. He's coming in a big old red suit.
Yeah, he
you're
didn't
right.
care.
Yeah, I know he didn't care. Yeah, that's when you know, like, oh shit, this guy is not scared to be seen. He's gonna fuck us up.
Not to mention he took it into a completely another show.
Yeah.
Notice me. I'm coming to kill you.
Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and we put in our intakes in. So I figured to go ahead and talk about why we're really here.
Yep.
Yep. And Wacky, by the way, I went
What's
through
up?
my Irish Creamer when I read some of it. I went through all of it. Like I tried to save some for this podcast, but I'm like, nah, I can't. And I only read one of them, not all of them, just one of the 1/3 of it. So
Is this
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
bro.
Fukuda interview for the new movie or something?
Yeah, no, it's not for the
No.
new. Well, I mean, it's a Fukuda interview that's not just Fukuda this time. It's actually 3 people. It's Fukuda, Morita, and Yoshino. And this was the because recently 2 art books came out. What's it called, in April to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Seed, and the second art book of the 2 included an interview with Fukuda and 2 screenwriters, Hiroyuki Yoshino and Shigeru Morita, which Shigeru Morita in particular was the one that was responsible for a lot of Seed's tech lore in particular. And this interview, let me tell you, it is magical. Like, this thing, I have not seen a Fukuda interview as big of a train wreck as this one since the November 2003 one, which was already a freaking beauty of itself.
Dang.
You have a link?
I
I
have.
see
Well,
it.
we're about to cover it.
Yeah, we're about to cover it right now. Yeah, it's gonna be on the
Yeah,
stream.
because here's the thing. This interview was translated by a wonderful anon on /m, and right now the thread that it was on there, 404, it's gone. But thank God I screen capped everything to make sure that it is preserved, because this interview is a gold mine.
Oh man. Hey, look, to prove it, man, I don't drink. I really don't drink. But Wacky made me an alcoholic that day.
Was it that bad?
Oh, you're about to see.
Yeah, you're about to see.
You're about to
want
see.
to.
Yeah.
I want to see
Yeah,
this.
you want to, because you're gonna be
Gundam
like,
Seed
you're gonna be
Thunder.
reading, you're gonna be reading some shit. You're gonna be scratching your head so much, your hair's gonna be falling out. Like, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah, like the
series
second-
already makes my hair
The
fall out.
second freaking question on it, the second topic, and all of a sudden, like, I remember I sent you just a little screen cap of the second topic at the time, and you were like, "What the hell did this dude just say?"
Yeah, I sent. I replied back. I was like, dude, what? I said I wasn't even really reading it. I just skimmed it. And all I saw was it was inspired by. I was like, oh.
Exactly.
I want to see this. I need to see this. Okay, let's go.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
go.
okay,
Let's
okay.
get in on this.
All right.
Okay, okay, okay.
Let's start.
All right. So, okay. So for those who are on YouTube right now, or Rumble, or actually, or even on Spotify, if you guys can't see it, I'm gonna go ahead and read it to you anyways. And then, like what we did last time, we'll read a little bit over, and then we're gonna give our commentary on it. All right. So let's just do our best.
Yep.
Let's just do our best. All right.
Just
So
don't give me a hog today.
okay. So all right. So the first category, you're going to see like the well, I almost say Infinite Justice, but the Justice. It says here that 2 art books came out last month in the conference of the 20th anniversary of Seed. So that's been a while, because the 20th anniversary was when 2022.
Anniversary is that? No, I do believe it was. What's it called? Well, the 2 art books came out in April of this year. So yeah, I think that would technically be accurate, wouldn't it? Because I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's
been
right. 2004 is when it
20
came out, right?
years. Yes, 2003 was when it came out. So now it's been 20 years since then.
Gotcha. Okay, so it says here that the second one included the interview with the interview with the director Fukuda and 2 of the screenwriters. I would love to know the 2
Yep,
screenwriters.
yeah, Hiroyuki Yoshino and
Mhm.
Shigeru Morita.
Thank you, because I would have butchered it.
Yeah, we just call them Yoshino and Morita for short.
Yoshi and Marita, gotcha.
Yeah, Yoshino and Morita.
Okay. Idea for the space whale. What's the space whale? Was Mr. What was
Yeah,
it?
the space whale, as that thing has come back multiple times now. Like this, like even in Seed Freedom, we saw it again, like on Preservation, which makes me wonder if there's gonna be any relation to that in the movie. But we're gonna have to see.
Yeah, so as Fukuda said, the space whale was the idea of
Yoshino.
Yoshino, who was in charge of the director design of chief animation director.
Oh wait, no,
for-
it wasn't Yoshino. It was someone by the name of Hirokazu. What's it called? Hirokazu Hisayuki.
And
that
he's
was the name of it.
Yeah, he's the character
Oh,
design and chief
okay, yeah,
animation
yeah.
director for.
In Dendo, which
Dendo,
for
yeah.
those for those who are not in the loop, Dendo, the name that he's talking about, he is referring to the mecha anime, the super robot mecha anime called Gear Fighter Dendo, which for those who have never seen it, Gear Fighter Dendo is the one and only anime that Mitsuo Fukuda made in collaboration with another director that was actually good. Gear Fighter
Oh, I've
Dendo
heard.
is a solid 8 out of 10 mecha anime.
I heard it was good.
I actually can't believe I'm saying this, but I recommend it. I genuinely do. Despite the fact that Fukuda was one of the 2 directors behind that one, someone actually held his hand and kept a leash on him, and it turned out good. Granted, it's not the best mecha anime I've ever seen, but it's a good one nonetheless. It's an 8 out of 10.
So this is where I hear what it sounds like is like a little bit of studio interference, because it talked about Fukuda was saying that he wasn't going to be using it, or he wasn't, fond of the idea. But strange enough, the TV station, which is the broadcast, Munchie broadcasting system, liked it. So I guess
my Nichi broadcasting system was apparently a fan of it.
Yeah, so I guess he was like, oh, I guess if they like it, if I went along with it, they probably will give me no issues.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm looking at the picture of this anime, the Gear Fighter Dendo.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, from the picture standpoint, it is not what I expect to see.
Oh, yeah, because it's it involves kids piloting big robots again, but yeah.
Yeah, so
it's
Yoshino...
actually it's surprisingly good. Like, I didn't
Okay.
expect it to be good, but it's surprisingly good.
Yeah, so Yoshino, there was also a text title, Gundam manuscript, written by...
Oh god, yeah, this
Myra
one.
Sa-
This was the one that I sent people a preview of, and your brain just dropped like a billion brain cells immediately.
Yeah, he made a lot of alcoholics that day. That's all I gotta say. I still remember the conclusion. In other words, Gundam is a war anime that has red, white, and blue and yellow robots.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
That was- Oh my god.
Honestly, look, I love Gundam.
No.
I absolutely love it, but I think T-Von has a little bit more heart into it.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna
that
be
is
drunk now.
that is like single-handedly one of the most brain dead takes on Gundam I have ever heard in my life.
See, if I was trying to convince someone to watch it, and then I go like, "Hey, yo, you should watch Gundam.
Well, what is it?
White, blue, red, and yellow.
Yeah,
Robots
it's
fight
very
each other.
bright.
Even there's only one of
Hey,
them
can you
that's that
imagine?
color in the
Can you
original.
imagine the sell
What?
pitch at Bandai? Like, like let's say Gundam was never around. Like Tomino was like going in there and they'll tell us, so what is this Gundam you're describing to us? And he's like, well, it's a war anime. It's very bright. It has red, white, blue, and yellow.
Like it's
Yeah, like my boy
Because-
Kato, who is in the chat right now, when I first sent him that preview, he said, and I quote, "That is simultaneously the most inaccurate and accurate description of Gundam sometimes. I can't tell if I should be insulted or cringing into a black hole."
I think
Yeah.
you're into a black hole.
I feel
Yeah.
that, bro. That's bad.
Yeah. So
You can't be in charge of a project and then start and describe Gundam like that. That's just disrespectful. You can't do that.
That is unbelievably disrespectful.
Oh, dude.
But it didn't go.
But it goes
Oh.
to show. It goes to show the mindset that Murasawa went into this. And Fukuda in the 2003 interview was not too far off. If you remember that he wanted to bring Gundam back to a more traditional style of mecha, like Combattler V. So yeah, like he wasn't too far off from Murasawa in that regard. They both went into this with a mindset that they had no idea what Gundam was all about.
I don't
So
think
it
they
could've been a lot
actually.
worse, to be honest.
Yeah, but I guess they didn't really care what Tomino was about. They don't
Yeah.
really care. Clearly, they don't
Exactly.
really care because, like, the reason I loved Gundam, for example, the reason it stood out to me amongst a lot of stuff, and I grew up watching Transformers and stuff. This was like the first time I watched a mecha anime where the mobile suit, like the machines, weren't like superhero gods. The machines were just tools,
Right.
and
exactly.
I loved it. I loved that because like that's relatable to real life. It's no longer
Exactly.
about super special spiritual magic
Machine.
powers powering the machine. It's like they're manufactured on an assembly line like everything else.
Minuteman
There's
in the
governments
chat,
of the
by the
secret
way.
projects.
what's up?
Minuteman in the chat, yes. Yes, he is, and trust me, we will talk about him in one way or another. We will
Man.
cover Thunder Zam one way or
What-
another.
One thing I gotta say is this: is that what makes Gundam what made Gundam stick out against a lot of animes during its time is that back in the day, man, it's always giant robots against monsters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There,
Yeah.
there was never really an anime where a person in a giant robot was fighting another person in a giant robot.
Well, that's the thing. Mazinger Z, for example,
Mhm.
had many examples of that because you're fighting, because Koji in Mazinger was fighting the Maikine Empire, which they had their own technically quote unquote mechas, but a lot of them were kind of like living and sentient ones. So it's not exactly piloted enemies that you're fighting, but yeah, like Gundam was the one that streamlined that concept of like real robot, as we now refer to it as, where you have basically a war setting / war drama going on between actual just normal human beings just in a sci-fi universe.
Right.
Very similar to it. Basically, many people keep saying that Gundam is Japan's Star Wars, and they're not too far off from that when they say that.
I hear that. I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
Either
I
Star
agree
Wars or
with
I
that.
Star
was told
Trek.
it was
Yeah,
thinking Star Trek.
that too. I hear Star Trek a lot more, but Star Wars. I mean, I hear both.
Because
Uh,
Star Trek is more about like the diplomacy aspect of it, while Gundam is more 50-50 on the diplomacy and the action. Star Trek only with the J.J. Abrams movies did it start becoming more action oriented, but the J.J. Abrams movies aren't exactly the highest of quality Trek entries.
It's the political aspects of it too. I think it's also very interesting in Gundam because a lot of shows that you don't really get to see a little bit of that political aspects, but Gundam does show it, like that inner political pull. Oh man, the baby's up from the nap. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get down to the development of the setting, which
Yep.
So it says here that you were originally a history school teacher. Oh wow, I didn't know that. So you were in charge
Marina's
of the
talking.
background, of the background setting. Mind you guys, I've only like I said, read a little bit of this. So
And then Yoshino, basically when you see like Morita and Yoshino going back and forth, that's them talking to each other
right,
and them getting transcribed.
yeah, and he says here that I was still teaching at the time of Dendo. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Um,
So Morita, he was actually Yoshino was actually a history school teacher at the time when Gear Fighter Dendo was being made, apparently, which
Okay.
is interesting.
it was decided that I would take care of the science fiction background, and you would take care of the social background. So Yoshino saying like taking care of the social background,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yoshino would be taking care of the social background.
and then Marita the
Morita
science fiction.
would be taking care of the science fiction background, which he was doing the tech lore of Gundam Seed, so that's accurate.
Yeah,
That's actually what happened.
yeah. So Marino said that's right. You can't separate those things. Fukuda had planned to have Yoshino participate in the scenario from the beginning. However, Shinji was just,
Seiji Takeda-san,
Seiji
which is
Takeda-san.
the series producer, which is the producer.
yep, he was a very smart person, and who was particular the historical background that led to the war. In short, he didn't want a story that was rootless, so I know I had to reinforce the worldview. Oh,
That's interesting.
that is
honestly.
interesting. Yeah, because you want a story to have roots, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, hang on, guys. Go ahead and talk about that. Give me 1 second.
Sure, go right ahead. Besides, I'm looking at chat as well. So, yeah, this whole interview is gonna be a wild ride. I can tell you right now because I can already see people in the chat skimming through it, and I'm getting DMs right now like about the freaking part about Atherin being a racist. But don't. Oh boy, wait till you get to that. Wait till
Sorry
we get
about
to that part. Wait till we get to that part because that's a doozy.
Yeah. So it says here that Bandai's ideas for toys. So now we're in the next segment. Fukuda says, I still remember that when we first met, excuse me, with Bandai to discuss what kind of toys we were going to develop. They proposed, a robot with arms and legs that could be replaced and and a human inside. I thought, is this a Gundam? Okay. After a while,
That's what I would. That's on. Okay, in Fukuda's defense, I would have wondered the same thing. If
Yeah.
that's what they were wondering.
Yeah. There are 5 Gundams in the price of range of 500 yen, and 1 HG for 1,000. Okay,
The high grade, yeah.
the high grade. And that's all we have planned. I was relieved to Let me go back to see that the hard knock was so low, and I thought the direction of the wind was changing around summer. Yeah, summer. For some reason, that you look like a no. I heard that band. I thought this was a good idea, and we might be willing to pay a little more for it, but the restrictions were not that tight. The only thing they said was, we want a large mecha like the Dendrobium.
Oh my god. So we introduced Meteor in the last episode. Dog. People thought I was freaking crazy when I said that the Meteor was a hybrid of the GP03 and the G-Falcon. That is proof right there. Fukuda even admitted it, that the Dendrobium was one of the two references that he got for the Meteor. There is your proof. I was not crazy. It's real. I just got vindicated right there.
Yeah, that right there is. I mean, he's under his words too.
I didn't
That's
hear
his
about
own
the G Falcon part, but yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that has to be a Dendrobium reference, right? That, like, there's no way. There's
Yeah.
absolutely no way.
I mean, I kind of could tell by looking at it.
Had to be.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah, it's like
The way the sword works, the way the way like they look like two of the beam cannons on the Dendrobium. There's like two of them.
guys.
And
These numbers
Gojira, keep this in mind in the chat. Gojira 2003, Gojira fan 2003, excuse me. Keep this in mind. This in the November 2003 Fukuda interview. This is the same guy who says he watched one episode of Gundam X and returned it the next day. So that only means one thing: either A, he just saw pictures of the G Falcon online,
or he
or
probably watched that
B,
one
he
episode.
eventually got it. He eventually at some point got it again after that interview, and then watched it. But still, like, keep that in mind. This is the first time. That is the same guy who watched one episode of X and then returned it the next day.
Yeah, but
that we're talking about here.
It's still a lot of studio interference because the studio was, meaning, Bandai. Bandai was telling them, like, we want that Dendrobium.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Keep in mind, though.
yeah, that's the thing about studios, man. Like, when studios interferes, it's all right. This is the part that made me. This is the one I was telling you about. Wacky Fukuda. Morisawa was in charge of the storyline and themes, so I don't know exactly what happened, but she was the one who came up with the concept of coordinators. All right. So at the time,
so that's Morisawa that came up with the concept of coordinators,
Right.
not Fukuda.
Not Fukuda.
Interesting.
So at the time, I wrote the word New Age. The term coordinator was added near the end of the notes. So so at the time, there was many genetically engineered organisms being born. And I had a sense of crisis that we were, let me go back, entering the New Age. Since new types is one of the things of Gundam Works, we decided to include the element of genetic enhancements. The major event of this word at the time was 9/11.
Here we go.
The major event in the world was 9/11, okay? There were Muslim soldiers among the U.S. troops advancing on Afghanistan, and she said that she got the idea for the story and Kira's position when he saw the coverage of the incident. He always said that she did, let me go back, not want to make the story a simple bipolar one, such as coordinators versus naturals, human beings.
Okay, there is a lot to
hold on,
unpack
hold
here.
on,
Yeah,
hold on,
that's a
hold on.
lot.
My question is, the thing that stresses me out the most, they're acting like they're freaking creating something that hasn't been done before. But didn't we have cyber new types in Zeta Gundam?
Well, yeah, that too, but there's
It
one.
doesn't really seem like something new.
And Double
Again,
Zeta.
there's- There's a
Yeah,
lot.
like-
Oh my god, there's so much to unpack. So I remember in that thread, someone actually replied. Someone actually was like so baffled at that, and they're like, "Wait a minute." They were like, "Wait, so does that mean Kira's a Muslim?" But then another anon underneath him was like, "So what Fukuda and Morisawa mean by that was that they're making an analogy of the recent events at the time in the same in the same way that it's contradictory for a Muslim soldier in the U.S. Army to be fighting against other Muslims in Afghanistan. They made Kira a coordinator fighting for the Earth Alliance against other coordinators.
In
The
terms of
reason why
reference.
yeah, the reason why it's odd to them is that by and large, the idea of nationality in Eastern Asia is intimately linked to race and ethnicity instead of being more abstract like it is in the West.
Yeah. So they basically thought of, hey, so basically imagine if this one group of people who are in this military has to fight their own group of people who are in the opposing side. That
Yeah, basically.
basically, yeah. And this is my the next topic. I like how the topic of this says Atherin is a racist.
Racist.
That's very racist.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, this one,
Okay.
this one is freaking hilarious to me.
Yeah, so it says here that. So how did the character of Atherin come to be? Did it naturally take the form of a character against a Muslim in the U.S. military? Equals Kira ? Fukuda. It seems so. Many people don't realize it, but Atherin is a very racist person.
Oh my god.
So in short, he did not question the current framework in society. He was created as such a character. He kept saying to Kira, "You're a coordinator. You're one of us." And I thought, oh, that's a racist remark. In short,
oh my god.
I think I was
treating-
trying to
he's
replace.
basically
Mhm.
hold on a minute, because yeah, he's basically trying to take from the frickin' Patrick Zala way of doing it. Because Patrick Zala believed that coordinators were a brand new species, that they were not like just humans, just artificially enhanced ones. And he's basically taking that literally as if it was actually true, which is not. Like, that's ridiculous.
I love this interview. Well, there goes my YouTube partner program. Oh, that's a racist remark. In short, I think I was trying to replace the story with a familiar Japanese story. Not
Keep
a
talking,
story
I'll get a
from...
BRB really quick.
Okay, not a story from a distant world. Yes, Fukuda does literally say... I don't know what that means. All right, so the way I got this is that... I mean, I never really got that impression off of him. All I thought was like, hey, they're trying to kill us. Why are you on their side if your guys are trying to kill us?
They didn't do a very good job of portraying that
No.
ideology.
No, I don't think so.
Atherin,
I mean, I thought not an Atherin. No, Patrick Zala maybe, but not Atherin. I never really got that that feel off of Atherin. No, Flay I did. Flay 100% I did. Fukuda had the idea for the eventually 11 Gundams and Seed from the stupidest place. Okay. Was it Bandai's request that the 5 Gundams appear? Fukuda says no.
Uh-oh.
When the Gundam projects first came up, I was very lukewarm about it at the time. There was an anime about 10 younger sisters. Okay. So Yoshino says sister princess. Okay. Fukuda at the time, I said, since there were 10 younger sisters, why not have 10 Gundams? I said, no one will be interested unless it's that kind of an impact. I remember saying, well, let's have 5 Gundams appear in the first half of the series. Okay, the first half. Phase ship happened thanks to old Takasu, sorry if I butchered it, and new 3D FX. So Fukuda says, at the time, digitalization was in early stages of spreading to the animation scene. I had experienced in previous works that phase shift down scene would require repainting in a collage, but in digital, it was less time consuming than it looked. So I decided to actively use digital special effects in Seed. Okay.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and by the way, I'm back. Hi.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, like, yes, Fukuda is right when he says that basically Gundam on digital computers at the time was new, but the way that they implemented it in Seed was so jarring. Like, when you the scenes with the Archangel, for example, the Archangel and the Dominion, and in Seed Destiny the Minerva too, like, they are so jarring because you see a fully CG warship on the screen with everything else being what's it called? With everything else being straight up hand drawn. The way they did not blend them in properly at all. It's like, I remember someone else using this same analogy for this kind of thing. It's like taking the Mona Lisa and putting stick figures on it. They stick out way too much, and plus the CG of the Archangel in general, like what they used for it and how they like did the fight scenes and all that. I think one of the most hilarious examples to me was when the Archangel was on screen and they were about to do a barrel roll like over the ocean, and at first they slowly turned the ship over upside down to use the Gottfrieds on on one of the goons that was attacking him from below, and then right after that they just went full 180 degrees in less than 4 seconds back, which should have killed everyone on that frickin' ship immediately. But the scene where it happened was so frickin' comically badly done that I just couldn't stop laughing.
I feel like as I'm reading, it's just. I mean, like, look, we talked about this in the other podcast. I kind of feel like he's kind of improvising as he's making. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong having like a little last minute decision and reworking something, but I feel like he had an idea for a world. He just didn't have an idea of like how it operates, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I know I got to have a Gundam, right? That's like I'm saying like from what I think like his mindset was at. Okay, I know I got to have a Gundam. Okay, so I know that 9/11 happened, so I got to figure out how to involve that with Gundam. Okay, what else? Okay, so the studio's asking me to for all this extra stuff. So I feel like as he was working on this, he's like, oh, I could do this. Next scene, wait, I could do that. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I have never seen somebody who goes back and forth like that on projects. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So Fukuda
exactly.
says, yes, that's right. Wait, I'm sorry. At the time, digitalization. Okay, I just read that. So, like the part where the phase shift armor changes colors like a soul. Okay. Fukuda says, yes, that's right. At the time, Takasu. I'm a butcher.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I just have to find where you are again because I'm still.
Phase shift happened thanks to the new 3D FX.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm on the last part where it says Fukuda. Yes, that's right. At the time.
Tokusatsu. Which is basically for those who don't know, which I don't know how, but yeah, Tokusatsu is basically like the genre where you have like things like Godzilla, Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. That's Tokusatsu.
Yep. So it says, yes, that's right. At the time, Tokusatsu had many different modes, but they just changed colors. So I said to him, why don't the Gundam change colors too? Laughs. That's how I decided to do so.
What Fukuda is saying, he's like, okay, have you been watching Tokusatsu lately, like Sentai or Kamen Rider or Ultraman? These guys change colors when they transform. Why don't Gundams do that? And that was apparently his pitch for phase shift armor because of that.
Yeah,
I have mixed feelings about this, honestly. That's both silly and funny at the same time.
Absolutely.
I really don't know how to feel about that. So yeah, what's next after that one?
Okay, so it goes into a different. Okay, so it says here that Marita says, I believe that Morisawa-san said from the beginning of the Seed project that a structure like a school was necessary. Why? Okay,
that's my question. Why?
Okay, so I do know the point of Gundam is that yes, even the youth will probably get involved in war. That's the same for Amuro. Amuro got involved in the war. I think he was 16 going on 17 or something like that. Char being 19, and it's true. That the young do eventually will have to fight in the war. I think that's why, but I'm trying to figure out why school.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things like where was school anime big at the time? Does anybody know?
I think it was starting to like grow a little bit at the time,
like a slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life was starting to grow a lot more than what it was beforehand.
So how studios works, especially nowadays, like in Hollywood, they would take what's going on with today and what's popular with today, and they'll pitch a part of their ideas. So, like for example, okay, we were talking about this horror movie earlier in the podcast, Evil Dead Rise. You know, it all takes place in an apartment building, but not really spoiling anything. Really, I'm not. But in the first 5 minutes, it shows. Okay, the whole movie shows like they're in an apartment. You know, very claustrophobic and everything. But the first 5 minutes shows they're out in the woods, like cabin in the woods. It's like the studio will only, you know, for example, I don't know if that's true, but you know, it's like, hey, you know, we could preview guys if you show us the roots, like, you know, like how the book was found in the cabin in the woods, whatever. They're like, okay, fine, we'll go ahead and find a spot for that. So as long as you guys will make our movie. I feel like that was sort of the thing, like, hey, you know, since school stuff is like big nowadays, we're going to go ahead and put this part of Seed if you guys approve it. Which I don't think they care about that. I'm just trying to figure out like why. So it says here, there's a lot of whys. Fukuda. There's
a lot of whys.
Yeah. So Fukuda, yes, there was. We divided the teachers, adults, and students, children into separate areas. We said that we would separate the children. Well, then again, one of them was a teacher. We said that we would separate the children from the adults and let the children create their own dreams, and the adults from the children. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, why? Like. Why is this even necessary for Gundam? Because I mean, like, we already have this is nothing new. Like Double Zeta, Zeta and Double Zeta both had this same mentality, where Camille and Judo especially would always complain that adults always screw things up, and that kids are the ones that have to clean up their messes and all that. Like that's something that has consistently been said in Gundam by multiple different characters.
It definitely feels like in Gundam Seed, it's like it definitely seems, after seeing all this stuff here, it shows that their actual like priority.
Oh, think about that.
The mobile suits were not really their priority. Clearly, it clearly shows that like the actual like world and stuff didn't seem like that much of a priority.
Yeah, because all they did
think about these like trivial things that don't even
because, like,
align with Gundam.
Seed, they basically just plagiarized 0079 and just mixed and matched stuff around in their own like idea of what they wanted it to be, and then Destiny did the same with Zeta. So yeah, like evidently, their own unique world building was not necessarily a high priority, or at least it didn't appear to be.
Like, yeah, okay, the mecha designers must have had one hell of a time with Seed, though. They're probably like, oh, yo, I drew this out. What do you think? Oh, that looks cool. Okay, let's put it in this. Let's put it in this scene for this.
Oh, by the way, fact check, by the way, armor was 15 to 16, but that's, yeah.
But listen, it's funny you should mention that, because, and this is a little snippet from my Strike Freedom rant, but I really don't give a damn because you forced my hand right here. But it's funny you should mention the whole, oh, this looks cool, just throw that in there. The design of the Strike Freedom itself, after Okawara was finished making it and everything, they took it to Fukuda's 8-year-old son at the time and showed him it and said, yo, what do you think of this Gundam? Does it look cool to you? Of course, Fukuda's 8-year-old son, being the naive, dumb kid he was at the time, said, hell yes, that looks cool. This Gundam looks freaking awesome.
I wonder if he showed him the scene with him and Flay and say, hey, son, do you think this is cool too?
Yes, like, what kid is not gonna say yes at that point? Like, let's be real. Who is not gonna say yes at the age of 8 when they're shown a fancy-looking giant robot? Of course they're gonna say, yes, it looks cool, and that's what they did. And with that in mind, they took that, and that's what they frickin' went with as an approval for the Strike Freedom.
Yeah, I don't even remember them actually elaborating too much on the technology. It's been a while since I watched Seed, but I don't remember them elaborating too much. I know they just went like, oh, it's powered by a nuclear reactor.
Okay. A nuclear reactor that we have to go through loops and loopholes in order to make possible. But listen, it's another thing that you should mention about them having a ball with Seed's technology, because this is another thing that I should have brought up in my Destiny rant back in the day. But get this, people have constantly tried to debunk me when I said that beam sabers in the cosmic era don't clash, and they always bring up one scene in particular in Gundam Seed episode 11, which even in remastered this still happens, where a beam saber clash takes place. And I have to explain to them that in the original Gundam Seed, saber clashes were all over the place. There were multiple of them in the original one before HD remastered. And after that one was finished, the team apparently was briefed that, yeah, about that. We weren't supposed to do that. I just wanted to let you know, you guys, you kind of messed up there, because that contradicts the Cosmic Era's tech lore, is that Seed's beam sabers are supposed to not clash, because we emphasized the arm shield aspect of being required to parry sabers with a shield of some kind this time around. So they all looked at each other and were like, "Uh-oh, we screwed up. So what do we do now? We can't just recall the entire frickin' shipment of DVDs just to fix that one problem." So for a while they let it sit and they just let it stay that way. But then HD Remastered came along, and that was their chance to fix that problem, which every single other saber clash in Seed was removed promptly from that, and except one. The one from episode 11. That was the one that still managed to stay in, but the others were all removed.
That's
so
interesting.
at that point, it can be deducted that that one saber clash in episode 11 is an animation error, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have removed every single other saber clash. Despite this, they wouldn't have left that one in. That one seems like, oops, we missed that one.
Why didn't they want saber clashes?
That, I guess that they wanted to try something new, or to try to make it unique on its own regard. But be that as it may, it didn't exactly work the way they intended.
I think he wanted to find something that would stick out differently than other Gundam series at the time. I mean, look at IBO now. I mean, obviously, yeah, I know IBO is years newer than Seed, but IBO did something where they did anti-beam armor, so now you have to use physical weapons. So they probably was thinking something unique.
Now that was a huge meta breaker for Gundam. Nano laminate armor, that was a massive meta breaker. That's like reverse Gundanium alloy in a way, where you become near immune to beam weapon, right? But so at the same time, in order to combat this, you have to switch to full-on physical weaponry. That's the exact opposite of Gundam Wing, where in order to combat Gundanium, you have to use beam weaponry, and that shell weaponry, unless you're firing 2,000 millimeter shells at a Gundam, it's not gonna do much.
Yeah, they literally went medieval in that series. They went medieval on each other. All right, well, let's go ahead and go on with the next scene. So, which is Morita's development of detailed scenarios versus Fukuda's part 1. Holy shit.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Oh, yeah. Did you decide on the detail setting for the battle scenes based on Morita's proposal? Morita says, I remember that it was the case-by-case basis depending on the number of episodes. Sometimes the director would give me an order this is the kind of story we want to tell, so you could think of the strategy in advance. Okay.
Interesting.
Or I might have a scenario which I was in charge of setting up the fight scene. Oh, man, accidentally. Where was I at? Oh, and accidentally opened up the other page. Oops. Where is it at?
You're at the bottom of the previous one.
Yeah, it's the one all the way at the
No,
bottom.
hang on. No, I'm reading on a different page.
Oh.
Yeah, so okay, there it is. Yeah, so I have it set up on pages on another tab. So let's see. This is the kind of story you want to tell. Strategy, advance. Okay, or I might have a scenario which I was in charge of setting up the fight, but when the storyboard came in, they were completely different. I grew up at Sunrise, so I am kind of. Let me go back. I'm kind of the person who is surprised when a storyboard comes out exactly as in the scenario labs. I submitted the scenarios every time, wondering how they would change. Yeah, That's to me that does sound like there's a lot of studio interference. God, it just sounds like to me that every time Fukuda would have like an idea or something, like the studio would step in and want to change it, and Fukuda was like, "Yeah, let's do it that way." But I mean, I know this is not Fukuda, so well, this is Fukuda right here talking.
The next line with Fukuda is actually very telling about how many people were at odds with each other. But yeah, go ahead.
I understand the intention of the script very well. However, I also understand the production situation, and maybe unfair to say this, but not all the staff members have high level of knowledge about Gundam or military affairs.
There it is.
Okay.
And Morita-san's script cannot be reproduced. Morita-san's script cannot be reproduced without a thorough knowledge of these things.
The audacity.
He flat out said, a lot of our a lot of our staff members, quite a few of our staff members didn't exactly have high knowledge about Gundam or military affairs. So yeah.
Sheer audacity of that sentence, that statement.
But then Morita-san comes back with a left hook.
Okay, let's go ahead and read the other part. So Morita says, "You wrote a lot of bothersome things."
Oh my God, Morita-san just freaking boom!
Yo,
you write a lot of bothersome things.
Yo, read his response.
Truer words have never been said. Oh my God,
his
Morita.
response was, No. If you read Morita-san's script carefully, you will find out it is very persuasive and carefully written. Morita-san wrote most of the battle plans for Gundam, and they are very persuasive. I guess is what he's trying to say.
I would beg to differ on that one.
And if they were not properly expressed in the video, I could only say that it was ultimately my fault. Laughs.
Yes, it was.
It sounds like he tried to.
It was your fault, Fukuda.
It sounded like he tried to play it off.
He did try to play it off, but he tried to leak. And in the end, he says if it was not properly expressed in the video of it, then then it's my fault. Which, yes, Fukuda, it was your fault.
That's his wife, isn't it? Morisan? No.
Morisawa was the writer. Fukuda was the director.
Okay, I thought his wife. I thought his wife was. Oh, it would be okay.
Yeah, they're Bonnie and Clyde. They're both at fault here, but still, like in that instance, with like on-screen things happening, yeah, that's Fukuda's end. Morisawa just wrote as in how it was supposed to play out, and Fukuda was the one that helped put it like on screen.
Look, Sunrise, if you're listening right now, me and T-Von, we got military experience. I was infantry.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
He's in Canadian Air Force, which is not much to say. But we we definitely love Gundam. So if you guys need a producer, maybe even a director, just you know where to find us.
Hit him up.
Yeah, hit us up. Yeah, you know where to find us.
But now we're moving on to page 2 out of 3.
Yep, page 2.
Yep.
This is
where
so much
things
potential.
are gonna get nuts.
And it just got, I mean, I guess actually no. Seeing where this all started off, honestly, like the idea of me saying like Seed has a lot of potential. It has lots of potential. It does. But it's crazy that it all came. This all seemed like a big happy accident. It worked out because Seed is huge, but this whole thing seems like an accident.
Yeah,
there's only a lot of potential because there's so many mobile suits and there's so much big technology.
This is why I say that Seed, yes, it is undeniably a success, like a big one, especially in Japan, but for all the wrong reasons. That's what I always tell people.
Like Seed has so much potential because of the mess that just created it. It just sprouted out of a mess. But like now that it's been established, I actually am hoping that like a director or somebody from like maybe someone who makes UC stuff, someone in charge of the UC stuff, just takes Gundam Seed's universe and then just gives us all the meat that we want for like all the technology and stuff and how these things are made, and like just do something more in depth with the universe itself and focus less on this trivial children separated from adults, all that stuff. All felt like a school structure was necessary, all that. Like it just forget that stuff. Focus on the military tactics and the technology.
If you want my take on it, I say put two people behind in the hot seat of Gundam Seed hot seat of Gundam Seed. Either what's it called? Kaneda Takayuki, who is one of the 2 directors of Gundam 8th MS Team, or Harutoshi Fukui, the writer of Gundam Unicorn. That's
Yeah,
what
because-
those two would do way better with Seed.
But it's crazy because like when you watch something like I'm not sure who directed Thunderbolt, for example. So when you watch something like Thunderbolt or 8MS Team, the technology and the machine, the mechs, the Gundams, the mobile suits were like the way they worked were a priority. The way they were portrayed, the way they were, the walking, the way they shot, the way everything, way they clashed, the way they fought, everything was in depth. Even the characters' emotions and thought process were in depth.
Yeah, it just
I love that. I
Yeah.
love like the reason I love Thunderbolt. It's like when I'm driving my car. It's like I feel like I have an emotional attachment to this machine. That's what I love Thunderbolt for. It was like there's so much each character, like the way they fought, it was just like, oh, it felt like they were one with the machine. Like they cared about how the machine was behaving. They were paying attention to the state of the machine, the orientation of the machine before doing the next move. That felt beautiful. That was like that in 8th MS Team.
Yeah.
What's his name? Shiro, the way he fought, he thought about the machine. He thought about what it can do. He thought about what it couldn't do. He thought about what was missing, what was damaged, what was that, and then he did his next move.
You know,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Everyone did.
The link between man and machine. That is what makes it so good. Even Amuro, Char, they know what their machines can do. The machine is an active entity in each fight. In each scene, the machine is an active entity, and it's part of the decision making of the character and the
Exactly.
character development as well. I love that. Like Char needed a better machine to keep up with him. He had to do that. He had to carefully work alongside the development teams to get a mobile suit that was good for him. And the Gelgoog was
exactly.
almost that. And then there was after that it was the Zeong. So
And
like,
even
I
in the
love
end,
that.
Even in the end, the Zeong still wasn't quite enough, but it was the closest it came to actually meeting the Gundam in a draw. So yeah, like
Exactly. I
Oh, and
love
by the
that.
way-
That's what Gundam is. That's
Oh,
what
and
the
by the-
character. That's what characters are in Gundam.
I just
That's what it's
noticed
about.
this. I just noticed this, Freedom.
Mhm.
You spelt my name wrong in the title. You said WackyModder89.
Oh, my bad. I just noticed. I
How
went.
dare you.
Yeah, just pointing that out because I just noticed it out of the corner of
Yeah.
my eye.
Yeah, I just looked at it and I was
Man.
like,
I wish people, man, when I try to describe Gundam to people, it's like I wish they just got it. What makes Gundam so special? This is what makes the machines. Gundams aren't just Gundams. Mobile suits aren't just mobile suits, man. Like
Yeah, they're tools, but
yeah.
for the characters themselves.
It's a means. It's a means to progress a story. That's what mobile suits are. And it clearly looks like this guy had no idea of how that works. He never
Yeah,
had any
because-
idea of that
and
concept.
It's evident of that because if you look at how many Gundams there are in Seed that really shouldn't have been classified as that to begin with, then yeah, that's evident of that. His definition of a Gundam was so loose and so vague that you can pretty much give any ace pilot a Gundam and it would be fine. That's not what Gundams are about.
Crazy. Yeah, it's actually crazy because like even when you watch the Universal Century from the beginning to the end, every single mobile suit that was like in the latest show is an idea built upon a past failure. Every single Gundam, every single Zaku, every single everything is an advancement of a past failure. It's
Exactly.
referenced. It's always referenced. Even characters, soldiers are referencing these things. So it's like, man, that's the important part. Like when Kira just got a freedom, it was just like, oh, we have a highly advanced mobile suit for your use. There we go. All of a sudden, he became a god, just like that. No, just that. I guess he's a coordinator, so that explains why he's able to just hop in and boom. But it's like there was nothing like, oh, we noticed you were having this kind of trouble in fights when you're being overrun by enemies.
Even
and stuff.
that,
Nothing
here's
like
the thing,
that. It was
though.
like it's like.
Even that doesn't apply with Kira because remember, if you look at Atherin, Nickel, Diarca, and Isaac, all they did was just get the Gundams moving. The 5 main ones at the time, where they stole 4 out of 5 of them. All they did was get the Aegis, the Buster, the Blitz, and the Duel moving enough to just get them out of the area, and then when they got back to the ship, that's when they started doing the fine-tuning on the OS to make it actually battle-ready.
Mm-hmm.
Kira, however, did all that within the span of 30 seconds with the strike. And then after that he was fine for the most part. Which
But
is
man, like-
ridiculous in comparison.
It's crazy. It's just like, man.
And
Oh.
hey, so to me, like Kira reminds me of like a younger sibling, where if you and him go out and play in the backyard, you try to hit him and be like, "Tag, you ready?" They're like, "Nuh-uh, you didn't touch me." Well, sure I did. I touched you. Nuh-uh. Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna punch you. Well, guess what? I'm super fast. Oh yeah. Well, I could catch you. Oh well, no, you can't because of I could outrun. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna shoot you. Well, you can't because I have invisibility. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, that's what he eventually
Oh my
became.
God.
like
Over time. That's especially when he got the freedom. That's basically when that actually happened.
yeah.
But
Oh
in the
my
strike
God.
he did take hits, but the problem is that he was still on the Mary Sue spectrum, but when he was in the strike, but he didn't go full on God mode Mary Sue until he got the freedom. That's when things got really bad.
Yeah.
The strike at its heart was a flawed design.
Yeah,
To be
like
honest,
like
it was a very underpowered mobile suit, and all the other ones were specialty built. Like they were really good at what they do.
well, with the exception of the duel, I think the duel
Except for the
honestly was
duel.
probably the
It was
weakest
pretty
link.
basic.
Because
the
yeah,
duel was
like
pretty.
the duel was basic as hell. Like Zaft were the ones that had to upgrade it in order for it to actually have something unique with it. And like even then, the upgrades they gave it was still fairly underwhelming compared to like the Buster and the Blitz. And I would honestly, and especially in comparison to the Aegis, and I would even say the Strike, because at least the Strike had the Striker Pack system, which was unique for itself. Like its versatility was good, even despite the fact that the Sword Strike was easily the worst designed of the three. The L Strike was solid, and the Launcher Strike was also fairly solid too. It was the Sword Strike that was the problematic one.
It was supposed to be a ship killer, anyways, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the Sword Strike was supposed to be a type of ship killer with the anti-ship sword, although Kira never really seemed to use it like that. That's the problem. And not to mention the design of the Schwertgewehr, which is the anti-ship sword of the Sword Strike, is garbage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've covered that multiple times. But yeah, like that sword, if that sword actually was well designed, the Sword Strike would have been fine for the most part, but because it's not, and because of the fact that Kira never used it really very much in the way it was intended to be used, which was slicing through warships, which in contrast, we see Shin in the Sword Impulse actually use the Sword Impulse the way it was meant to be. It was an anti-ship sword, and he was cutting through all those orb warships with the Excaliburs. That's how it was meant to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And Kira, in contrast, didn't really do that.
You know, I do got to point this out there.
Go
So
on.
yeah, so like when in production, I'm going to talk a little bit more about production. So like, this is where I'm very big on studio interference. I don't really like the idea of studios interfering.
Agreed.
Yeah. So like, I you know what? Look, Wacky's already going to know this already. What does he not know about Seed? So
There
the
are bits and pieces.
yeah. So when it comes to the Buster, you know the main reason why for it to switch, why the studio told Fukuda to make it switch sides, right, to the 3-ship alliance.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, we covered that in the 2003 interview, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's where I read it from. So yeah, so the only reason why they had the Buster come part of the 3-ship alliance is because they really wanted to sell more toys. Because out of all the other Gundams, the Buster was the one that was selling the least. So the studio had to step in and say, hey, you know, make it basically part of one of the protagonists so that way we could up its sales.
Which
So,
I gotta say, to hear that the Buster was the one that was selling the least and not the
know.
Duel was
That's
genuinely
my
surprising.
favorite design. That's my
yeah,
favorite one.
I like the Buster.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Buster,
same.
man.
The Buster is pretty base.
man.
Like to hear that was the least selling one was genuinely surprising for me to hear, because I would have expected it to be like the Duel.
Yeah.
Because the Duel was, again, the Duel was like the bland one of the squad
Well-
that didn't really have anything going
Well,
for
I
it.
think that's why they did the Assault Shroud. Because I think they said it was just too basic.
Yeah.
And they just
Even
had to
then,
find
the
a...
Assault Shroud didn't even help much.
No,
Even looking
nah.
at this much.
No, it made it slow down a bit. I know that. Like, hey, let's just make it gain like 50 pounds and give it an extra gun. That should really do it for it. But I mean, they did that, and also I really think they did Destiny dirty. Because
they
of Shin.
did Destiny very dirty.
They
Because
did
here's
Destiny.
the thing about Destiny: the first 27 episodes of Destiny are better than the first 27 episodes of Seed.
I agree.
But everything after that is just a train wreck.
Well, yeah,
It's
because
just an absolute disaster.
yeah, because originally Kira was supposed to die. But there was a lot of hate mail coming in. There was a lot of studio stepping
Death
in
threats.
and basically death threats. There was a lot of things that was stepping in. So Fukuda was actually Destiny was supposed to be Shin's story. It was really focusing on Shin, developing his character and stuff like that. Me personally, I think they were doing a good job. I personally think Destiny was way better than Seed. But whenever it got to the point where they're like, obviously, after the battle with Kira, where he shut off the nuclear switch in time before the nuclear bomb went off.
Well, yeah, before the nuclear reactor went critical, and not to mention
nuclear reactor.
when in closer proximity, the Tannhäuser from the Minerva, hit the Archangel on its way down and caused an antimatter explosion, which was also in close proximity to the Freedom's reactor going nuclear at the time, which the two of them more or less merged explosions Castle Bravo style, and that's what we got. There is no way in hell that Kira should have lived through that. And if you ask me, even the Impulse should have been dead from that, but instead we see it was all warped and melted after the explosion cleared, which was like outrageous to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it the defense of the phase shift saved it. I'm not going to give it that. There's no way.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
Wait a minute. Did you take the interview off screen, by the way? Because we just now are starting on page 2.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and just try to actually.
And basket case, to answer your question in chat, I am eating some delicious Italian pancakes.
Yeah. We might just have to end it here. Only because
Wait, how come?
Oh, the baby.
Oh, dad life again?
Dad life. Yeah, because of I started the podcast early, so that way I'll be able to stay in for the full podcast. I don't know if you're able to hear her through the mic, but she's very angry.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if dad life has to come into play, then yeah, we'll do
a part 3.
We'll separate this into parts then, if you have to.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a better trilogy than Star Wars.
Come on. Okay, in the what you call it? In the newest trilogy's defense, it had so much potential. If they didn't try to retcon a bunch of stuff that was already established on the universe.
Well, Disney really came out in an interview and said that they admitted they had no idea what the story was. They had no idea what the direction was going to be. They had no idea. They just went with the flow.
So much potential.
Exactly.
So much potential.
Yeah. Well, George Lucas had scripts written up and said, "Well, here you go, guys. This is an idea." Kathleen Kennedy said, "Nah, we thank you for your suggestions, but we got it from here."
Yeah, exactly. And plus, may I remind you that to this day, the Lucas cut of Rise of Skywalker still remains a mystery. Like, everyone and their mother on the inside said, yes, it was real, and it was the best cut of Rise of Skywalker, but it never saw the light of day.
Well, I just think the Rise of Skywalker was just basically fixing up The Last Jedi.
Or at least it tried to. In the process, it broke more things. But it was still funny to see them try, because like the scene where this one was funniest to me, the scene where like Luke got somehow gave Rey Anakin's saber back, even despite the fact that it was broken in half in The Last Jedi, and then all of a sudden he said, "I was wrong." Like, that is a slap in the face to Rian Johnson right there.
Yeah,
that's like saying, "No, bad boy, we're going back to this."
Yeah. Well, it was a good talk. We definitely got a lot of it down and a lot of insights of Fukuda and his project. Let's put it that way.
"Quote unquote" project. But we're going to come back to this because we still have 2 more pages of this interview to go through, and it's going to get wild. And I can tell you on page 3 in particular, that is going to cause a lot of mixed feelings about one thing in particular, which Red Fox, I will show it to you in the DMs because I know this is something that you're gonna want to hear early. So either way, we still have 2 more pages on this interview,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well, I definitely cannot wait to get to it because I only read the first one. So, like I said, I really want my reactions to be the same as you guys's.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Having a fresh reaction is definitely better than reading ahead and talking about it.
100%. But I couldn't help it. I did catch a glimpse, and Wacky made me an alcoholic. Yeah. So I can only imagine what the other 2 pages was going to do to me and everybody else. So we'll see.
Mhm.
But alrighty, guys, my fellow engineers, I thank you guys for joining us for the podcast. Wacky, thank you for coming on to the show again, and Tivon, welcome back. Alrighty,
We'll
my
be
fellow.
back.
Here.
Yep. All right, my fellow engineers. I hope everyone has a great evening and have a wonderful night, or maybe even the morning, whatever you guys are listening at. All right, love you guys. Thank you guys for joining in, and have a good day.
Peace out, you guys.
That was nice.